Good evening. This is just Bob Bowman. I'm coming with a live stream. In this one, I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart again. Um, but before I talk about that, I just want to let this cook a little bit. I just had a real good meal. I had made some chicken breast simmered on sweet and sour sauce with my connection. Isn't this something? I'm already having issues with my connection, and I just got started. I'm like, wow. Hopefully, it doesn't happen too much during this live stream. I know to the people that's going to see the playback, they're not going to see what it is that I'm actually saying right now at this moment. But I'm just going to get everything off my chest, and I'm going to freestyle it like I usually do. And one thing that I want to say is that there is a lot of negative videos out there, like a lot, and they're coming in back to back to back to back. And there's certain content creators that are doing these videos, and these dudes really need to be checked, and they need to be checked really hard. I understand that they gonna have their opinions and they gonna do everything that they want to do, and they can be negative towards people that decide to check out and get their passports and travel and meet different women overseas. I understand that. I understand that they can disagree with it. But when you start condemning people and throwing shaming language at people just randomly because you don't agree with how it is that they choose to live their life, when we are supposed to be in a society where everybody has freedom of choice, I mean, it's an issue, and it's a big issue, and it's a lot of suckers on here, and I think that they do it because they think this is going to make revenue for them, tearing down a fellow black man who is tired of the society that they already have said is terrible out of their own mouths, but they still want to shame their fellow black man because they actually are taking steps to do something to make their lives a little bit better. It might not, change everything. It ain't happening overnight. You know, like, yeah, we know that we don't have the resources that we need to just up and move the way that we want to, and it's set up that way. Like, this society is set up to keep us locked and chained where we're at, so we can't go anywhere. We can't move. But the simple fact that we are talking about getting our passports and stacking up our money to like travel and deal with the women there, and the women there actually like us and want to be with us, and we can spend our money there, you have an issue with that. And I'm starting to understand a little bit more of why it is that you guys are doing this. One is revenue, because you see that the women are coming in and making a killing off of the manosphere. I see it. Everybody else see it. They see that these women are making a killing off of the manosphere. And so they like, man, we've been talking about these women for so long, and they just come in and still make more money than us. So what can we do to increase our revenue? Well, we have to go after these men who are having this message. Some of them are dirt bags, which I can admit, but then the majority of them, they just want to live like a happy and peaceful life. But we need to disturb what it is that they're doing and make them look as bad publicly as possible, so we can get some revenue for ourselves. And it's a money grab. It's a definite money grab on their parts. And that's the reason why they keep on doing videos over and over again. And one thing that that person has to understand, who I'm talking about, that's constantly making videos about it. And let me be clear. This content creator, and I'm not gonna say his name, like, but I am going to describe him where you know who it is that I'm talking about. Like this content creator, he has been on YouTube for many years, damn near since the beginning of when it started. Like he was making 10-minute videos on YouTube, like back then, you know. So he did some good things on YouTube, and I will give him props on that. I give him his flowers on that. When he exposed the crooked preachers and the 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 falsehoods of how they were preaching about tithes and things like that. Like he did that. And I give him credit. Like he spoke about that. He spoke about how these women are. And I was like, wow, like he actually understands. But then he made a pivot and then he tried to group all the passport brothers into one pile and use the same talking points that other guys have used against passport bros. And it was like he just totally disregard how things in society are set up to cause this to happen, to cause men to want to travel out and see other women. Like and these men know that they can't bring these women back. And it ain't because of money, because they know that if they brought them back to this crooked system, they're going to get taken advantage of. They'd rather travel, see them over there, and then deal with them in that way. But you have men out here that's still trying to shame other men for exercising their rights and their freedoms. And they want to say, oh, you know, these guys are just perverts. They just want to use women for sex. But then at the same time, these men who used to talk bad about men who pumped and dumped here, they sit up there and they say, oh, that's okay now. Now that I see how these women are, it's okay to pump and dump. And then these men say that they believe in the most high and they talk some good stuff, which I will admit, like a lot of the stuff they talk about is really good as far as like Bible and things of that nature. But at the same time, these men also be downing the women in their videos. They say they don't want to date a so-called righteous woman because that woman isn't really following what the Bible say, but they won't you know, give any slack to the men that see what is going on here and has come up with the best solution for them because we're men. We need to interact with women. However, the women here are not good. The majority of them. I'm not saying all the women here are bad, but the good women are very few and far between. Said this out of your own mouth. But what it is that you see that you're not getting enough money on your channel. You see that there's women getting a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of attention that you wish you were getting. And so you're like, well, I gotta create some controversy, create a civil war within the manosphere so I can get some revenue my way. I understand why you're doing it, but does that make it right? Absolutely not. That makes it terrible. Like all you're doing is destroying something that men are supposed to come here to be able to freely express themselves in a way where they won't be shamed and judged by the rest of society. But you brought that shaming language, the same talking points that the gynocrats have been speaking for so many years, and you're using it against a specific group of men. Is that right? Absolutely not. And you know what you're doing, and you know that it's wrong. And I spoke about this so many times. I spoke about one of your buddies on here on YouTube that be doing that. And I obliterated him and he had talked about it since because he knew I was on point with what I said. But you, sir, a lot of people haven't really been pushing your buttons really. They haven't really been coming at you because we know the reason why you're upset about men going out and traveling and getting passports because you can't do it. You have several women and several children, and you can't afford to move around like that. Yeah, rolling forward, you're right. The passport movement has reemerged the Black Manosphere, and it's re-energized the Black Manosphere. I'm a part of this because I just got my passport this year and I went on my first trip this year. Have I been outside of the country before prior to this? Yes, I have. I was in the Navy for 4.5 years. So I've been to different countries and it was a good experience for me because it taught me how to act. Like, I'm not going to go to another country and get sloppy drunk. I'm not going to go to another country and be tossing money around, throwing money in the air like some of these fools have been doing. You cannot place all of us in the same boat, is what I'm saying. And that's what you're doing. And on top of that, you're trying to control what another man does with his money and what he does with his life. You are trying to penis police me. You are a control freak. And the reason being that you are a control freak is because you want that type of control where people will listen and obey what it is that you have to say. And it would get more women to be willing to be with you. And we understand the game. We understand the game. That's the reason why we have taken ourselves out of the game because we refuse to play it in that way. You all want to talk about game. We know what game is. Game is lying to these women, telling them what they want to hear so you get the draws and then guard them. And then that's another bad mark on us. We are choosing not to anymore. I played that game so many times when I was younger and I saw the results that come with it. And I'm not anymore. But you want to say, oh, these men ain't got no game. Like, I could be in a relationship right now. I'm not an ugly guy. I'm not an ugly. I see my face on here just like you do. I'm not an ugly guy. I could get a woman right now. But would she be the type of woman that I want to be with? Hell no. It's because I don't have my stuff together the way that I need to in order to get that woman that I would like. So I'm working on myself. I'm doing the things that I need to do in order to improve myself and improve my life and to be the man that I need to be the best version of myself. That's what my agenda is. It's about being the best version of ourselves so we can attract the woman that's supposed to be with us. And it's an issue with that. It's a problem that a lot of these men have because they don't want the majority of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You know why? Because they want to keep control of the dating market where they stay at the top and then they are able to manipulate us to accept whatever it is that they want to accept. And rolling forward, you said the dating coaches want to continue monetizing black male frustration. Exactly. Exactly. That's what it's all about. And it's a lot of these YouTube live streamers that's trying to monetize the black male frustration as well. I'm doing my best not to name his name because I do have respect for a lot of the things that he has talked about for so long. Like, he exposed the church, which I respect. He exposed how these women are, which I respect. But what I don't respect is how he came at all the men in one pile and tried to make us out to be predators, and we're not. I know I'm not. Red Lord Black Sigma, he said, what's sad is it took so long for brothers to get the word out. It's time for simps and the sisterhood to take accountability for their transgressions. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. However, I had a conversation with a lady a couple of nights ago, and she did not want to blame women for anything, even their behaviors. And I'm like, I didn't force these women to do that. But she's like, the men came up with the rules. And I'm like, you don't have to follow the rules. We're in an equal society. You made the choice to do it this way because you see the advantages that you have with how it is that you operate. But still, she didn't want to take accountability. She was still trying to make it out to be just men. And it doesn't work that way. So if you don't want to hold yourself accountable, you're going to have to deal with the consequences. Have I dealt with the consequences of not holding myself accountable for certain things? Yes, I have. And I am on the mend of improving my life from those bad decisions and bad choices that I made. One of the reasons why I did this live stream and started making videos is because it's helping me with my process. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to hold myself accountable. That's what being the best version of myself is all about. Holding myself accountable for my actions. Like if I mess up, I say, "Oh well, I messed up. I learned from this and I move on." And I do my best not to do it again. Sometimes it still happens whether or not I want to or not, because that's life. Life, you have ups and downs. You have things that happen that's out of your control. But the best thing you can do is to learn from it and to do your best not to see yourself in that situation again. But anyway, you know, I know that I'm a very small YouTuber. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have a very small audience. But a couple of nights ago, I did a video and it reached over 1,000 views, almost 1,500 views. And it was another YouTuber that I pretty much shouted him out in the description for this video. He has the technology to make it what I'm doing right now. Like I'm just doing a video and it's just my voice and it's just me talking on here. But he took that idea of what I was talking about, because I talked about Jordan Peterson and how he got emotional because of how he was being negatively portrayed in the media, and that somebody actually made a movie character that's supposed to be a villain based off of him. And you had media outlets such as the Young Turks using that to further shame and demoralize him. And I pointed that out. And he put that in his video. The only difference is what I didn't like what he did was that he used it and then flipped it to make it into a conservative agenda that he's trying to push, because he's trying to push conservatism within the black community. I don't have any political affiliations at all, and I want to say that first and foremost. Like, I'm not for the Democrats and I'm not for the Republicans, because this whole system sucks and it's failing right before our eyes, but we don't want to see what's going on. Like, we see it, but we're trying to ignore it. We're trying to ignore that, the emperor has no clothes on. Like, we see that the emperor has no clothes on. Like, why not just say the emperor needs to put some clothes on? Because a lot of people don't want to say that because they are afraid of getting their heads chopped off. And me putting myself on the YouTube live streams and in these videos that I've done, I know that I have to be careful as well, because I'm putting myself at jeopardy. Now, I've been canceled before. You know what I'm saying? I've been canceled, I've been ignored, ostracized, all that. So it doesn't bother me as far as that. The only thing is that I know I have to be cautious, because some people might want to get physical with me because of my viewpoints, because it goes totally against what it is that they want out here in the atmosphere, and what it is that they want spoken. But as a man, I have to do my best to be who it is that I'm supposed to be, and to say what it is that I'm supposed to say, because that's what the Most High want me to do. Now, am I a perfect person? Absolutely not. But it's a message that I have that I'm trying to get out here. And the message that I'm trying to get out here isn't a bad one. It's about being the best version of who we're supposed to be. How is that bad? Jordan Peterson, he said the same thing in his interview. He's just trying to help these people that feel marginalized become the best versions of who they are. But society is villainizing that for heterosexual men, especially heterosexual black men. They don't want us to be the best versions of ourselves. They want us to be pieces of shit that get walked on. They want us to emulate what we see in the music videos. Lord knows that back in the 90s, I wanted to be like Puff Daddy and Mace so bad. Really bad. Like I was sitting up there pretending like I was on the Mo Money video doing this. Yeah, we all were affected by the bullshit. And we all had the line to the point to where we tried to emulate images and certain things that we didn't understand was being programmed to us. Now, it's nothing wrong with music and wanting to do music, but if it's if it's not authentic, if it's not who it is a person who you are as a person, then it's not going to work. And if the Most High don't want you to do it, it ain't going to work. Like we all are under subjection to the Most High. That's one thing that I've learned through the 40 years that I've been on this planet. And yeah, both my parents, they believe in the Most High, and yeah, they've talked to me about it, and also other family members. I got aunts who are deeply into the church and everything. I'm not a part of any religious organization, and that's a personal choice of mine because I see the corruption that's going on in those churches. I saw it with my own eyes, and I experienced it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to get myself tied into some mess and to fall under some other man and what he thinks that we should follow because of his interpretation of what the Bible say. I'm at the age where I have to have my own interpretation of the Bible from what it is that I've studied and what I've learned. I have to make those decisions for myself, and I don't need another man telling me how to think about the Bible because I'm a man and I have to use my own brain because at the end of the day, when I die and I sit on that judgment seat, I got to hold myself accountable on that judgment seat. And I am going to be held accountable when I'm on that judgment seat. You see, that's what a lot of these people don't want to tell you. That's the truth because they want you to keep on giving them your money. They want you to keep on giving you your so-called tithes and offerings and try to buy your way into heaven. You cannot buy your way into heaven. You got to do the work. Part of the work is understanding what it is that you need to do, how it is to function to be a decent human being on this planet, how to treat other people, how to pray, how to eat, how to carry yourself, how to dress. It talks about all that in the Bible. It also tells you different stories about, you see the lessons of other people and the traps and the snares to watch out for. But you have individuals that want to use that information, twist it, and bend it into what it is that they think that you need to understand and what you need to learn. And then they use bits and pieces of it to control others and their actions. And then they don't hold certain people accountable, even though they know they're evil just because of their gender or because that person got a lot of money. And I saw a little bit of what Angry Man was saying earlier on his live stream where he said money isn't everything, it's the only thing. I understand why he thinks that way because on this planet, money has a lot of control and a lot of power over what a person can and can't do. Like, if I had $1 billion, do you think I would be wasting my time doing the job that I do? Or do you think I would be traveling way more than what I'm doing now? Of course, I would be traveling way more than what I'm doing now, enjoying my life, not being in people's faces, like trying to be incognito. That's what I would be doing. Like, I would help out certain family members and things like that. But other than that, I'm trying to stay away from everybody else, travel, live a peaceful life, and not deal with the mess that everybody else has to deal with. That's what I would be doing. But at the same time, if somebody saying money is the only thing, you have to ask yourself, is this person willing to, throw away their values, throw away their integrity to make it to the next level? That's where my question lies at. And that's not a shot against Angry Man because he seems like a decent dude, but I have to think about this intellectually, just like he comes off and thinks about things intellectually. Like, if a person is saying money is the only thing, what are they willing to do to get to that bag, as they say? You see, I'm doing my best to get out of my emotions and to look at things and look at life logically. And that's what these videos are about. And it's like a lot of men, they want us to continue to be frustrated and angry and give our energy to them. That's what the one guy that was doing these streams and talking real bad about the Passport Brothers, that's what it's all about. He getting the eyeballs, he getting people angry and frustrated and ruffle their feathers. And then the people that actually support what it is that he's talking about, they will give him money and say, yeah, keep talking about it. And he know that it's a lot of women that feel that way. And so they gonna empty their pockets and be like, yeah, keep talking about it, keep talking about it. It's like going to a church, and you know how a lot of these churches are where they don't hold the women accountable. And you can't say nothing bad about what the women are doing. And you can only say what it is that the men ain't doing right. They bring in that same energy, that same malarkey to YouTube. And they think that men like me don't see this. I see it. I understand what's going on. I understand why it is that you're doing what you're doing. And I was looking at another live stream, and it was a gentleman by the name of Brazil Yesha or something like that. But anyway, he said that it's time to just let them keep speaking. They not gonna change what it is. They not gonna change their talking points. Like the people that's gonna support them, they gonna support them. But at the same time, we need to stand on who it is that we are. We need to stand on our principles, and we need to stand firm. And we need to understand that these darts are coming. And I know that I can't give my energy to these people too much. Like sometimes it happens because sometimes like the information is just right there in your face. But if you can duck and dodge it and not engage in it as much as what you have been engaging in it, then do that, because you're not going to get these people to change their perspective and how it is that they want to look at things. They're going to want to look at it in the way that they look at it, and it's coming from hate, and it's not righteous, because you cannot condemn a person and call yourself righteous. You can't say that pumping and dumping is okay, but then you're saying that men going out and getting their passports to meet up with women overseas ain't okay. You're being hypocritical. Point blank. I'm not shaming anybody for their stance or what it is that they want to do with their personal life. That's not what I am about. Like I said, my agenda is just for men to become the best version of themselves. And they could be the best version of themselves with $25,000 a year or $25 million a year. As long as they feel good about themselves and they exuding that energy and that confidence and that knowingness of who they are as a person, that's what really matters at the end of the day. That's what I'm working on. And I'm saying that I'm not there yet myself, but I am working on it. I am taking steps at a time. It's a process. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I go to physical therapy. I'm not going to be healed in one session. I got to go to several sessions. I got to go to monthly sessions. The last time I went to physical therapy, I was at physical therapy for 4 months. This time it's only going to be a month. But once I get to the point, you know what I'm saying, where I'm healed, I'm going to be healed. Red Lord Black Sigma said, I'm richer than any dead man. I don't live for money. I live. Money don't make the man. Man makes the money. I put my pants on the same way the richest person on the planet. Yeah, that's true. But it's a lot of people that's going to waste their lifetime chasing an exuberant amount of money. And then once they get it, they're going to realize, like, hey, yeah, I got all these things, but I'm empty on the inside because I didn't really find out who it was that I'm supposed to be and what it is that I'm supposed to do as a person. I've just been chasing money. So now I got all this money and I got to try to figure out who it is I am as a person. So I'm not saying that it's bad to want to have a lot of money, but you cannot let that desire control all your actions. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, The Most High is supposed to come first. Man cannot serve two masters, is the Bible say. You either gonna serve the Most High God, or you gonna serve this money. And if you serve the money, you're gonna end up doing things that you thought you never would do in order to get it. And that's just facts. We see it all the time. We see it in entertainment. We see it in sports. The veil is being slowly opened to us. Like, it's starting to become obvious that a lot of these games that we watch on TV, these sport games, a lot of them are rigged, especially like the finals or the Super Bowl or whatever. It's starting to come out where people are starting to point out certain things and say, hey, that don't look right, or that looks staged. Um, like, I remember when the Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks were in the Super Bowl, and they had a video game simulation of the game, how it was going to end, and it ended off of an interception on the video game. And later on that evening, guess what happened? An interception uh, ended the game. The Patriots intercepted the pass by the quarterback from the Seattle Seahawks. I can't Russell Simmons. And it was the same way on the video game earlier that day when they did the simulation. They trying to show you what it is that they're doing. It's all pre-programmed. Like, a lot of things are pre-programmed. But I'm starting to see that it's a lot of men that's waking up to the program. I'm waking up to the program. If I'm waking up to the program and I'm on the level that I'm at, I know that there's men on even higher levels that are waking up to what's going on. They starting to see that it's we've already been pre-programmed ever since we were little babies to, like, do certain things and be a certain way where we could be easily controlled and manipulated. But now that we're getting older and the technology out here where we are starting to see things a lot more clearly than what we ever did before, they cannot hide that it's a, just like TV, they call it television programming, because they're programming you to how a family's supposed to look like, how we're supposed to interact with each other, who we're supposed to date, who's popular, who's not. It's programming. You get what I'm saying? That's not a conspiracy. This is facts that I'm saying right here, right now. It's facts. And they've been putting it in your face for so many years, and they've been lying to you and saying that, oh, it isn't that. But that's okay. This government speaks with a forked tongue. That means they say one thing but do another thing. Like, you saw that interview with Joe Biden where he said that if China attacked Taiwan, that he would put US troops out there. Like, as soon as he said that, they did like a comment underneath what he said about a White House administration saying that the US wouldn't get involved. The same interview. And I'm like, how is he saying one thing, but the White House administration is saying another thing? That's showing you that they playing both sides. How do a lot of these women on here operate? They play both sides. A lot of the women that say that they're for the men in the black manosphere, they only saying that to get the money, but in reality, they don't respect us. That's playing both sides. How do you think these men who come on here and they drag the women, but then at the same time they want to shame the men for looking for solutions to get a better life for themselves? They're playing both sides. They're double agents. It's a lot of double agents out here. It's very few real people. I just pray to God that I don't sell out just for a buck, that I keep it 100% every time that I choose to get up on here, because it's real easy. It's real tempting to sell out, especially when you have millions of dollars waved in your face. You know what I'm saying? So this is where I'm coming from when I'm doing videos like this. I'm coming from a perspective of honesty, of looking at myself in a truthful manner, uh, recognizing my flaws and my faults, and doing my best to think about the choices and the decisions that I make in my life. And some of the decisions and choices that I make are not going to be the correct ones because I'm a human being just like everybody else. I have fallacies just like everybody else. But at least I'm going to try to do the best that I can. That's all I am going to do is I'm going to put forth my best effort to be the best version of myself. And me getting my passport and me traveling and me being open and honest about my experiences is a part of that. Me getting on here and talking about it is a part of that. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not harming anybody. I'm not trying to do any wrong to anybody. I'm not trying to manipulate people. I'm not trying to con people. I'm not trying to build a compound over in some other country. I'm not trying to start a GoFundMe to escape this place, which some of these guys are out here doing, which I don't agree with. I'm not going to talk bad about them, but I'm just saying, like, ethically, I don't agree with it. But then I understand why it is that they're doing it because it's a lot of men who are trapped in miserable marriages and miserable situations in life. And they saying, hey, if I can't escape, maybe I can help this one brother escape. He's young, he's in his 20s. You know, he can get over there and do a lot better than what it is that he's doing right now. And that's no shade on him by me. And I'm not trying to personally attack him because he hasn't said anything about the passport bros that's just living their life or whatever. But at the same time, I see things for what they really are. And if it's a con, I see that it's a con. I'm not going to lie to myself anymore because I've been conned so many times in my life. And as a man that's been conned, I know that when I get conned, people don't feel sorry for me. They just say, you were stupid enough to fall for it. It's your fault. You just going to have to lick your wounds and learn from it and move forward. So if I see something and it seems like a con game, I'm going to call it like I see it. Somebody asked me, what's your channel about, brother? My channel is about becoming the best version of who it is that I'm supposed to be and encouraging other men to become the best versions of what it is that they're supposed to be. Now, I talked about getting my passport, and that's how this started because I went on a trip to the Dominican Republic and I had a really great experience when I went out there. Like my interactions with the women was totally different from what it is here. And I'm talking about my personal experience. I'm not talking about anybody else's personal experience. And that's what I'm on. I'm on just being about being the best version of yourself. Like I have a disability, but I work out, I go to the gym, I work, I have a job. I'm learning how to save my money better, stack up so I can be able to do what it is that I would like to do. I've tried several businesses, they didn't work out, but I'm not giving up. I'm just going to build on what it is that I have right now. So when I'm ready to get to that point to where I'm ready to like start another business again, I would have a better insight to what it is that I need to do in order for it to be successful. And me being 40 years old, I realized that isn't one size fit all. Like one thing that might be good for one person might not be good for another person. So I'm not telling people what to do. I'm just making suggestions based off of my life experiences. If it works for you, you do it. If it don't, oh well. So that's what my channel was pretty much about. But like my really old videos from like back in 10, 11 years ago, um, I did have some, some songs that I did. I didn't want to take them off, and I had some other artists that I put on here that I didn't want to take off because, hey, that was part of the beginnings of me creating this channel. I'm not ashamed of who it is that I was back then. You know what I'm saying? If I would have took it off, it would have been like, oh, he trying to hide who he was. Like, yeah, I was a failed rapper at one point. It happens. It's a lot of failed rappers out here. But anyway, if you want to listen to this content some more, you can always check the archives to see what it is that I'm talking about or what all the different subjects that I talked about. But I just want to get this off my chest, to be real, to be sincere, where individuals will know that I'm not out here trying to con anybody. I'm not out here trying to gas people up. I'm just saying do the best that you can in order to make it. Because at the end of the day, you only got yourself. And don't listen to these people trying to shame you because you're making personal decisions in order to figure out what's best for your life. Those people already made their decisions on their life. They probably are upset and terrible that they stuck in the situation that they're in. So they want to make you feel terrible about your situation. And at the end of the day, we all have things that's going on in our lives that suck. We all have things in our lives that's going great. And it's different variations depending on who you are and how you interact with the world on how that is. And that's something that I found out as I got older. So it like sometimes it comes with time and wisdom. Sometimes people figure it out right away and then they just go and do their own thing and become successful. But anyway, I've been on here for about 42 minutes and it's time for me to wrap it up because I got to get ready for work in the morning. But thank you to everybody that stopped through. Thank you to everybody that watched the video and wanted to see what it is that I was talking about. Hey, I appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Uh, Red Lord Black Sigma says, peace to the chat and keep growing, Bob. All roads lead to SYSBM, but that's me. I get you. I get you. But anyway, y'all have a wonderful evening. This is just Bob Bowman. Sayonara.